Welcome back, everyone. So in this video, we're going to be doing something that's basically the formality now. It's so obligatory for so many YouTubers, but more specifically in the finance niche. There's something about the finance, business, investing niche that so many YouTubers just feel so compelled to show off, and that is the good old lovely giving ad revenue from YouTube. So we recently hit 3,000 subscribers. I did an entire video, and that video will be down below in the description if you haven't seen it yet. But in that, I made the announcement talking about how we hit 3,000, the plans for the future, etc. I also did a little giveaway announcement in there, little gesture, nothing too crazy. And I'll be announcing that once more toward the end of this video. So if you want to stick around for that, be my guest. So in this video, I want to show you how much a very, very small channel, I mean, we're talking tiny. We're talking not even deserving to be the hair on a cockroach's leg in the eyes of YouTube. 3,000 subscribers. How much does a 3,000 subscriber channel get paid on YouTube? Now, some of you might be watching this and you might have 3,000 or more subscribers yourself, and you actually might not be making nearly as much as I am, or perhaps you are making more than me. But why is that? Well, there's so many variables when it does come to YouTube ad revenue, and this is so important to preface. The biggest factor for YouTube earnings and how much you ultimately do get paid is going to be your CPM, or the cost per mil. And that means how much is the total revenue per 1,000 views on YouTube. Then out of that number, YouTube does a 55-45 payout method. So YouTube gets 45 cents out of every dollar, and the creator gets 55 cents. So more than half. That's very generous on YouTube's part. So that CPM number, that CPM, the cost per mil, how much revenue the video is making per 1,000 views, or how much the channel is making per 1,000 views. You can look at per video. You can also look at for the entire channel. There's so many ways to look at the analytics. YouTube has a plethora of analytics for you to stare at. And as creators, admittedly, we are guilty of just looking at those analytics, watching those subscribers go up. As I'm filming this right before I clicked record, got a few more subscribers. So it is fun to see that. And sometimes it's a little bit of addicting. You know, you got to take it down a notch and just let the numbers roll for themselves. But we do it, and admittedly, it's fun to especially watch that revenue go up. So that CPM, maybe you are monetized, could be very small for you. Perhaps you'll be shocked at my CPM of how high it is. And why is it so high? Well, channels that tend to be in the finance, investing, business niche do tend to be, they're more prone to be a lot higher CPM. Why is that? Well, the reason is because the advertisers, the kinds of ads that these videos attract, are much more willing and able to spend a lot more on those ads. So they bid very high on the ads that appear in the front, at the end, and also any mid-roll ads that occur during the video. For example, if your channel is talking about, say, makeup, perhaps the makeup companies are not going to spend as much on the ads to acquire customers because they know that the LTV, or the lifetime value of a customer, is not going to be as high as perhaps someone watching a business video, and perhaps a bank or some sort of a business course is advertising in the beginning, middle, or end of this video. They know that the lifetime value, or what the customer can spend, is willing to spend, how much perhaps their income is, and how much they want to invest, could be a lot higher than someone that's perhaps watching a makeup video. So that CPM is a very large, it is the determining factor when it comes to how much you make on YouTube. But then of course, there's how many views you're getting, how much watch time your video is getting, how much engagement, how many people are liking that video. If you haven't already, go ahead and give the big thumbs up, smash the like button. It will support me and boost that algorithm. Go ahead and hit that for me. I'm being very transparent with you, showing you my actual earnings from YouTube. So least you could do, just hit that like button for me. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Another big factor is how long someone is engaging with the video. So watch time is very important. The duration, is someone clicking off within 10 seconds of that video, or are they sticking around for the entire video? So many factors that go into how much one will earn from YouTube, and it's a long journey, and it's definitely a work in progress, and it's something that you just have to continue to do. And I emphasized this in my recent announcement video of the 3,000 subscriber landmark, and that is the fact that I was not monetized until a year and a half. It was just about a year and 5 months, almost to the day, year and 6 months, into the lifetime of this channel specifically, and these videos I'm doing, as you know. So for you absolute OG fans, I've been doing YouTube for over a decade now. I've been making videos for the majority of my life, but this channel specifically is the most hardcore I've ever went as far as making content for YouTube and making any content. So This is the most consistent I have ever been in my entire life when it came to video making. This is obviously the crux and something that I'll continue to work on for probably my entire life. Hopefully YouTube does continue to stick around. I don't think it will die anytime soon, but that's a whole another debate and discussion when it comes to the lifetime of platforms and the rotation of platforms and the dropping off of platforms. But I think YouTube will stay up there. YouTube, I don't think anyone could ever come close to YouTube. So it took about 1.5 years to get monetized. So 1 year and 6 months, year and about 5.5 months to get monetized. Exactly on July 15th of this year, I'll flash the email here, is when I got accepted into YouTube Partner Program. Very exciting, very cool that I got accepted. I had to share that with my social media, and I'll talk about more the Instagram giveaway per se that I'm doing toward the end of this video. It does involve you following me on Instagram, so if you haven't followed me yet, do so now. You can go at Instagram, just at Logan Cohn, you can follow me. But at any rate, so it took about 1 year and 6 months to get monetized. And then I built the studio here, invested $2,000 into the studio. At first, it was just my videos that were shot on an iPhone and a white background, the wall of where I live. It wasn't very high tech. If you have a cell phone, you could have made those videos. I also did have something I had previously bought many years ago, a Rode lavalier mic, little clip-on lapel mic. It was like $50-$60. It wasn't crazy. You can get an even cheaper one on Amazon. I probably didn't have to spend that much on that lapel mic to ever see the notification that was monetized, but it was just something I had, so I decided to use it. So it was because of you loyal, stalwart supporters that I am able to do daily uploads now, and so now I'm doing a video every single day, no exceptions, no excuses. Some days you'll even see perhaps multiple videos a day. Maybe I'll even do 2 videos a day at one point when the earnings do increase. Then I'll be so incentivized to get up and just do videos all day long. There'll be nothing else. Seems no reason why you wouldn't spend a second doing anything else if you knew that you could earn so much money on YouTube. So the way YouTube works is that you get paid once a month, once on the 21st of every single month. Maybe if you live in another country, it's different, but for the US at least, I know that it is the 21st. And so you get paid. You can either get paid by paper check in the mail, an actual paper check that comes from Google. And if you didn't know, Google does own YouTube. I hope you know that. You should know who's feeding you. So if you didn't know, Google does own YouTube. So the money does not come from YouTube. The money comes from Google AdSense. So you get paid on the 21st every single month, once a month. And you actually get paid for the previous month. So for example, on the 21st, which is coming up soon, less than a week away by the time you're watching this, I will get paid for the month of August on that month of YouTube. So first what I'll do is I'll take a look. We'll go into the dashboard here, the YouTube analytics. Everyone loves it. Some people, some YouTubers are not so transparent. They don't want to show their earnings. They want to show their analytics. But I am so transparent on this channel, and perhaps that will help or hurt me if I ever want to run for public office, or maybe I get appointed to something, a CEO position later in my life. So I'm just deciding to be transparent. I figure that's the best route to go. Let's dive in. Let's go into my YouTube analytics here. So we are in now, and right off the bat, so you have like the live subscriber count over here. So I just hit 3,000 subscribers today by the time I'm filming this, and I'm already at 3,008. So that's cool. Tells you like the last 48 hours. Tells you top videos of the period here, latest videos. I mean, there is just endless. And then there's even advanced analytics that you can go into. We're not even gonna touch that yet. We can actually go further in depth onto like every second, how videos are doing. You can look at the top videos, who's viewing them, which areas, what genders, so many. And I really, really appreciate YouTube for putting so much work and effort and investment into their analytics. I mean, this is so generous. It wasn't like this when YouTube first came out. In fact, you couldn't even monetize videos in the early days of YouTube for you YouTube fanatics, you historians. I did this research a long time ago. And so monetization actually came in the later life of YouTube. It's something rather recent when you look at the entire lifetime of YouTube. But of course you have the views here. So this is the 28-day period. It's important to look at the period here. Very important, because you might just think I only have this much, but this is the 28-day period, and we'll switch to that, don't worry. We'll do only analytics. All creators stare at this all day long. So views are up, views are way up compared to like the previous months. Watch time, watch hours a month are way up. And I think it is worth noting that had I known what I know now as far as YouTube and the tags and how to get your videos to show up in search engines and optimizing your videos and the pattern of videos and doing longer form videos, had I known all this stuff of the absolute nitty-gritty nooks and crannies of YouTube, probably I'd like to think I could have done it a lot faster as far as getting monetized. I probably could have got monetized maybe half the time Maybe that's a little bit generous, but I'd like to think that I could have gotten monetized within my first year on YouTube. It maybe shouldn't have taken so long. I do know that some of you are really struggling right now, and you just feel like you're going to get nowhere, and you just see such little growth. And at that rate, I have to tell you, unfortunately, you got to do the math. I got to be honest with you, it is going to take a long time. A lot of you are struggling, you're making okay content. I mean, it's not going to show up in search results, and that's really the big thing. If you want to show up with search results and you want to get those watch hours, you have to use good keywords, you have to use good titles, you have to use good tags, you have to make good thumbnails, put effort into your videos. I see so many people that are just throwing content out, but it's like vlog style, and really no one's interested in your day-to-day life. Sorry to hear. No one cares. No one cares about your life right now until you build up the following, and then you can do more vlog style videos. You could do more day-to-day, day-in-the-life type of videos. And I learned that the hard way. So like I said, had I known this from the get-go, I didn't think you could just put up any content. Had I known that you have to do keyword and title and description rich content, had I known that from the get-go, I probably could have got monetized a lot faster and probably could have been at 5,000 subscribers, maybe even more than that as of the second. So it's something that you'll learn over time, and I do have to tell you that you have to upload more. That's just the simple math. You have to do the math. I did the math myself. I said, wait a minute, I'm getting X number of watch hours a month. I'm putting out X number of videos a month, and at this rate, it's going to take me years to get monetized. So I decided to upload more. And if you want it so badly, then you'd make that commitment. So you have to upload more. You have to do keyword, title rich, and relevant content. It's all about relevancy. You can do evergreen content as well. I have a lot of evergreen content on this channel. But if you want to get faster and quicker results, then you have to do relevant content. So huge. So back to the analytics here. So we have 1.1 thousand watch hours for the month, or at least 28 days. So this isn't a full month. It's 28 days. So if you want to call it like a leap year February, but it isn't a full month per se. If you want to say 30 days, then we can make that custom range. YouTube, for some reason, just has the default on 28 days. I don't know why it's not 30, but whatever. It's cool. Subscribers, it goes up and down. Subscribers, it's hit or miss. I could have videos that do exceptionally well one day, and I could be uploading videos every single day, which I do. And maybe the next few videos don't do as well as they before. So it's definitely up and down, and this is the last 28 days. So like, for example, on the 14, 26, 22, 8, 4, it's definitely a roller coaster. And something really important is that subscribers aren't as big as a factor as that good content and that keyword and title rich content. If your content is relevant and is showing up in search results, it will continue to do so forever, really. If you are able to show up first, second, third page of YouTube, and there's so much training and things that you could study on YouTube to do so. I'm not the one to be the YouTube, the captain of industry here. And you could do all that research yourself and analyze your situation and what your channel is doing right now. But if you are able to show up in search results, you will get subscribers over time. So subscribers are not necessarily the biggest factor. They're not the absolute golden standard. It's really about what kind of content you're making. Is it showing up in search results? Are people actively searching for that type of content? Do they want to watch it? Is it something they'll get value out of? Are you providing information in that content? That's really the biggest factor, and getting those views and that watch time. So now we'll get into what everyone wants to see, and that is the estimated revenue. So here's the ad revenue for the last 28 days on this channel. It is more than the previous 2 months. Remember, I got monetized on July 15th. That was the day I got monetized. That was when I was able to immediately, within literally hours, I was able to start monetizing all my videos once I got approved. And this also goes up and down. Again, it has to do with what the videos are doing. Eventually, this will become more consistent and over time, and it really creates a compound effect. Videos that you made a year ago, the videos I made a year ago are still getting views to this day, and I haven't even looked at those videos in such a long time. That's really kind of an investment. You could really think of YouTube as an investment vehicle. You're putting in the time now up front, and you can earn on videos that you made a year, 2 years ago. You look at some of these big YouTubers, and because they have such a large following, and they continue to show up in search results, videos that they made years ago are still earning them money. Maybe not a lot, but it's still earning them money, and of course while they're sleeping. They don't have to do anything to actively keep that video making money. It's just all the power of YouTube. And so it's really an investment of your time. It is an investment of your time. You're putting the effort up front, and in a way you are making passive income. A lot of big channels, if they stopped making videos right now and they hadn't made another video for a year, they'd probably be earning a decent amount of money. Of course, those are bigger channels, bigger names that have already established themselves. For example, I could never do that. I mean, I could. Maybe I'd make a few pennies a day in a year from now, but obviously not worth it, and I would never do that. So what am I making right now? Well, we have some good days, we have some bad days, and so this amount, though, I am very satisfied with. But you only made $249.11 for the 28-day period. That's not a lot of money. You can make more working at McDonald's. You can make more working minimum wage job. And you're right. But guess what? You got to look at it as a perspective. You got to look at it from a bird's eye point of view. And I am such a strong proponent and advocate of perspective. You have to look at things holistically, all the factors here. So let's look at it this way. You could work a minimum wage job, McDonald's, right? We're not even talking about my other streams of income. We're just talking about YouTube right now. We're not talking about anything else. We're just talking about YouTube. You could absolutely go ahead right now. Work at McDonald's. You could work retail job, doesn't matter. But guess what? You might get, if you're lucky, a 10-cent raise at the end of the year. Maybe you'll get promoted in 5 years from now if you stick at that job. Maybe you'll be able to make a little bit more than someone subordinate to you. Maybe you'll be able to move up the corporate ladder. Maybe it will take 10 years to do so, but you will make more. Well, guess what? I put in a year and a half of effort, and I got monetized. And so for that year and a half, I did not make one nickel. But then my first year, or rather my first month that I got monetized, and we'll look at those numbers in a bit, I made a certain amount, and then the next month it increased. Then the next month it increased. There's no other job that your salary increases so substantially month over month, and the channel is only continuing to grow. So yes, I put a year and a half into effort into something that I didn't start making one penny off of. In fact, you could almost say I was losing money because maybe that time could have gone to something that I was doing something income generating. But then after a year and a half, I did get monetized and I started making money. But technically, I'm still in the negative right now because the studio cost $2,000. So I am in the negative technically, but I like to think of it as a net positive. But you also got to keep in mind, you can go to school for 4, 6, 8 years. You can go to med school for 8 years. I know people that are going for even longer than that. And they didn't make a nickel yet from that degree. In fact, they're substantially in debt, especially if you are going for that medical degree or whatever you want to do. And that's fantastic if you are. We need our doctors. We need our lawyers. We need our people that do a great service to this country and to our cities. But the fact is that that degree is not going to make you a net positive for a very, very, very long time. It is just going to take a while. You might be working a job while going to school, but that degree specifically is not going to bring you any nickels for a very long time. So the money's increasing, and there's no other salary like that where literally in your first month you could make more than you did in your first month. There's no other job. Tell me a job where you could make after 1 or 2 months like double the amount of money that you made in the first month. It doesn't exist. You can't find it. It's just a fact. So you have the ability to scale. You have the ability to grow here. And I'm not doing anything back-breaking. I understand it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of discipline that it takes here, right? This is not easy. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because it's not. There's going to be days you don't feel like it. There's going to be days where you wake up and you just do not want to turn on the camera. There's going to be days you just do not want to get all dressed up in front of the camera and do something and talk about something and, start a new topic. But you have to do it if you want it that badly. If you don't want it, you don't want it. That's fine. But if you do want it, you have to put in the effort. But I digress. So anyways, the estimated revenue for the last 28 days. So you can see like the last week of August here, it was just 2 and change, 1 and change, 3 and change. And then, you get a spike from some of these videos. If the video does well, if it gets a lot of views, then you'll see that spike. And it all depends on the CPM as well, but my channel is a rather consistent CPM. All my videos tend to be just about the same because it is the same topics. But you see it grows here, so like the beginning of September, so $10 and change, then it goes 7, 8, $18.95, $29.06. That was a recent video that did well. And then what you'll typically see is like the remnants of that video, of that spike. So once that spike happens, it isn't over, right? It doesn't just come totally crashing down like you might see it come for like the next 1 or 2 days. But then after that, unless you don't have another big video, then it will come down. It's like 827. Now we're on 1068 and then 1086 for these last couple of days. But there is a 24-hour delay, so that's why I'm not able to show you like exactly what I made today. That's 28 days, but now let's look at lifetime or 90 days. So 90 days is really going to be like the same because my channel only got monetized on July 15th. And here's actually the first day. It shows 29 cents here for July 14th. My theory is that in the few hours between the hour I was monetized, which was like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then by the time the clock hit midnight, my theory is that those were the few hours, and that's when I earned those few hours that I got my first day of monetization. But then the first full day of monetization, there was oddly a spike. This was kind of strange to me, why there was such a massive spike. Now at that time I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, it's already at 14.77 for the day. But then the next day was already back at the 8.76, and then it did come up again, but it did go down. So it's definitely a roller coaster, and you do have to establish your channel. The fact is that you just have to keep making content no matter what the revenue looks like for the day. A lot of people would get discouraged by the time it hits the 156. Like, who's going to put in effort for something that you'd make $1 and change in a day, right? So you just cannot back down. You cannot give up. You have to keep spitting out the content, and you have no choice. And that's what I continued to do, and it paid off because now, you know, you hit like 21.07 for the day, 13.26, and that's very good. I think that's pretty good. I understand it's not, maybe in another country it's good money. Maybe that's a lifetime's worth of income in a third world country. But I happen to think that's pretty good for doing something that you're just turning on the camera. You're sitting in your home. You didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to transport anywhere. It required no transportation. You don't have to communicate with anyone. You don't have to sell anything necessarily. I have my affiliate links down below, like I have, you can follow me on Instagram, but I have my Robinhood and my Webull links down below in the description. So if someone signs up and gets a free stock, and if you want free stocks, the link will be down below in the description. But if someone wants to do that, that's cool. They can do that. But I don't have to rely on that money. The ad revenue is pretty good for me. Like, just making an extra $20, $30 a day, that's actually like enough to fill up your Roth IRA. If you think about the limits right now with Roth IRA, $6,000, $7,000, this actually equates to be enough to fill up a Roth IRA. So just this revenue alone, let's say it never grew and it's stuck at say 30, 40 bucks a day, that's enough to fill up an entire Roth IRA. You can go ahead and potentially cash out by the time you reach the age of retirement with $1 million, $2 million, $3 million just from this income based on the historic projection and the historic annual return of the S&P 500. So I happen to think this revenue is very good, but of course we're going for much more than that. So you can see for the 90 days, which is not really the full 90 days because it started July, we'll call it July 15th, my first full day. So today's September, not December yet, the year's going so fast. September 14th, so you can call it July, August, September. You can call it like 2 months. 2 months on YouTube, July, August, September. And so it's not really 90 days, but for the entire period from the day I got monetized of July 15th to now, we are at 420.44 for the entire lifetime of this channel. There's so many analytics that we can go over, and believe me, I'll be happy to show you how much my channel starts getting when I hit like 5,000 subscribers. But I also want to just quickly take a look at the Google AdSense back office here because this is where you actually get paid. So the Google AdSense used to show the YouTube analytics, right? It used to show your CPM and all that, but now that's only in the YouTube analytics actually. So the only thing that Google AdSense is going to show you is your payment and how you actually get paid. So right now you can see my balance is nowhere near what I made for the last 28 days because it's accounting for the month prior. It's not accounting for this month. So it's not, that number was, what was it for the 28-day period? Or 249.11, so about 250 there, 249 rather. So it's not near that because that's just accounting for the month before. So the balance right now, if we take a look, is going to be 136.49. I get paid direct deposit, so I don't wait for that paper check. It just hits the direct deposit like the next day. So say they pay me on the 21st, I get paid the next day, 22nd, 23rd, depending on business day status, whether it is or not. And the threshold, by the way, for YouTube is $100. So unfortunately, if you have a very small channel, which, by the way, if you do get monetized, you should be in good hands because it shouldn't take you that long to reach that $100 threshold. It should take you about like a month if you are monetized, just based on the average CPM for YouTube channels. We're talking about the entire general population. And so you have to hit that $100 threshold to get paid out by YouTube. You have to hit that. You're not going to get paid otherwise. But the good news is that you don't have to do that in a month. So if you have a very small channel, you can do that within 100 days, right? So it could take you an entire year to hit that 100, but you will get it, and you will still be entitled to every nickel that you get. Don't get alarmed. So it will show you here in my Google AdSense that The first payment that I got, if you view the transactions, is a little bit counterintuitive. You actually have to go into the transactions to understand what you're looking at here. So my first payment was August 21st that it came, and it was for 120.07. That was my first payment. Now I'm entitled to 136.49. That's going to be hitting my bank account probably the 21st or 22nd, depending on the business day, like I had said. And so that will come from YouTube. And that's going to account for, based on what this is saying, the period of the 1st to the 31st of August, and it will probably include the 1st to 15th of September of 2020. So we'll see. I don't know just yet because it's a little bit counterintuitive of how they calculate it, because if you want to say it's a month before, then do you include the previous period of September, that first couple weeks before the pay date? A little bit counterintuitive and not extremely clear, but you could definitely look that up. And obviously I'm not concerned. You get every nickel that you're entitled to from YouTube. They're not going to jip you. They're not going to take anything from you. Granted, you are expected to pay taxes on this income. I, for one, may or may not be doing that, or maybe I'll write off a lot of it with the cost of the studio and whatever I could dream up, the write-offs, as you could just say they're business expenses. We'll see. Of course, if I start making six figures, it'll be hard to write some of that income off. So I probably will have to end up paying taxes on it. But for something so insignificant like one and change, and you don't really even have to pay taxes on that. You don't have to report that. But at any rate, that is what I got, and I'll even show you the direct deposit to my bank, actually. Just a little bit extra proof here. You can see the direct deposit to my bank account for that 120.07. And then in future videos, I'll of course show you more and more. But going back to the fact that you could make more at a minimum wage job, well, let's take a look, because I like to play around with this calculator when I do my dividend videos, when I like to show you the percentage increase when I show you my month-to-month dividends and how they increase. Even if I'm not even putting more money into a certain stock month after month, my dividends still increase because of compound interest. And let's kind of use that same mindset here and same analysis, because if we take my first payment that I received, again, just my first 2 months on YouTube, there isn't any other job where you make more the second month than you did the first. Maybe if it's solely based on sales and performance, but if we're talking about a minimum wage job here that a robot can do and someone could easily replace you with a drop of a hat, then you're not going to find it. So 120.07, we go the starting value here of the calculator, and then we take the 136.49, which is going to hit my bank in the coming week or so. Let's take a look at that percentage increase, because if we calculate that, it's actually a 13.6754, so just about, we'll call it a 14% increase. Besides sales jobs, and even if it is a sales job, again, it is solely based on performance. So you do have to continue to sell. You have to sell more than you did the first month, right? Well, I'm not having to sell you anything in this video. I mean, I'll sell you on clicking the like button for free and subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell for free. But I don't have to sell you on anything monetarily that you have to buy, something that you have to consume. You don't have to click the affiliate links down below in the description to get a free stock when you sign up with Webull or Robinhood, even though it's free to open up an account. You don't have to do that. However, with something like this, where I'm just continuing to bang out content, it's kind of like a minimum wage job, because you're just doing the same amount of production that any other person could do if they wanted to, if they knew they were getting paid. Of course, you have to be a figure of authority, you have to have the intellect, you have to have the intuition, actually you have to be able to do content every day. But it is kind of like a minimum wage job, because you're just doing the same process, rinse and repeat, repetition every single day. It's not back-breaking work. You have to have the discipline. You have to show up for work every day. But it's not like you're working in the fields and you're picking a vegetable or something. I almost said cotton, so maybe we should scratch that. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that in there. Didn't want to say cotton, but it's not like you're picking a vegetable. So about 14% increase from the first month to the second month. And that's my first month. I just started with monetization. I know I've been doing a year and a half on YouTube, but when it comes to just being monetized, I've only been doing it for 2 months, and already a 14% increase between the first month and the second month. So you can't find it anywhere else, And I really do like the income because, again, if I didn't make another video, I would still be earning relatively within a short period of time because the channel was so small to begin with. But let's say I did have like 100,000 subscribers and all my videos were bringing in a good amount of views. I could take a 365-day vacation. I could travel the world for an entire year and I would still earn something, especially if you're much larger. So the YouTube income, if you didn't absorb that already, if you didn't see the indication there, it is great. It is really a nice source of income, and it's scalable, it's growable. It's something that is based on your performance in a sense, but is almost guaranteed to grow over time just naturally if you are doing and you are putting out relevant good content. It is almost guaranteed to grow over time. It really is projected to do so just because it really is a compound interest idea and mindset when it comes to YouTube ad revenue. Almost forgot, I have to add in here, what is my CPM? What are my videos actually making when it comes to my revenue, and what is that CPM doing for me? Well, and I got a few more views here and just making this video, so it's live, that number is dynamic. So like, let's take a look at the reach. So this reach here shows the impressions, which for 28 days, 183.4 thousand impressions. I understand much larger channels are in the millions, several millions, tens of millions. That's pretty crazy to think in just a 28-day period, my videos have been displayed nearly 183,500 times. But what's the click-through rate? Click-through rate is important because that's how many people are actually clicking on your video compared to how many people are seeing that video appear, whether it be on a homepage, a suggested page, on the sidebar, the suggested videos on the sidebar. What is the conversion rate of how many people actually click through to watch that video? So that goes up and down too. Some days it will be very high if a video has a high one. But just for the last 20 days, it is 5.7%. It could be higher. 6% it is for the 90 days. 365 days, we're looking at 5.6. So basically same there. Views for the last 28 days, we saw that already, 20.9 thousand. Unique viewers, this is basically how many unique viewers are viewing your videos. So you do get repeating viewers in there, people that view multiple videos at a time, or maybe even they watch the same video twice, but you don't get many of those. When it comes to engagement, we already saw the watch hours, but view duration, this pretty much stays stagnant. It really doesn't change too terribly much. Maybe if I put out like a long viral video, it will go up significantly with a period of time, but it really does stay the same. It doesn't change much. But now audience, subscribers, we saw it goes up and down. Unique viewers, we saw average views per viewer. This doesn't change at all. This is probably the most stagnant number. It really stays at 1.1, 1.2. Revenue we saw. And let's take a look because this is where you get into the CPM and the RPM. Now YouTube actually just added the RPM. And RPM means the revenue per mil. So CPM is the cost per mil. This is the total amount that gets spent from the advertiser per 1,000 views. So, this changes. It's not something that's set in stone. But right now, for the last 20 days, it is very high, 22.15 cents. That's considered a very high CPM. 90 days rather, it is lower because it's calling these other days zero. So that will definitely bring down the average. So it is zero because I wasn't monetized until that day. On the first day, though, my CPM was 14.54. So that was pretty cool. But the CPM for the last 20 days is a better indication, and that is 22.15. We can see it goes up very high, like $40 and change on some of these big days with the viral videos that do well. $40 and change for one video is ludicrous. That is a lot for 1,000 views. Now the RPM, and it follows the CPM as far as the pattern of the trend, because what that is that's actually your estimated share of the revenue. So CPM is not how much you make from the video, it's how much the actual revenue that the video brought in is. Well, in this case, we're looking at the entire channel in its entirety. But you can look at per video as well with the RPM and CPM. So CPM is how much in total revenue that video or this channel right now is bringing in on average. The RPM, the revenue per mil, or 1,000 views, mil is M-I-L-L-E. It's not mil like million, it's like a Latin word. If you know like the metric system and all those measurements, it is 1194 And that is basically that 55-45 math dynamic that I told you about, how YouTube takes 45 cents of every dollar, the creator gets 55 cents of every dollar. So that's really the calculation here. If you do 45-55, and it's just an estimate, right? This is not exactly to the cent how much you paid, but it is basically exactly, it might be off a few cents, but this is exactly basically how much you are getting paid. So like, let's take a look to be absolutely sure. So if you see here, the most recent day, September 14th, is 6:55 for my RPM, but in fact it was 10 and change. But it does follow the trend a little bit here, the pattern here. So like when there is a spike, there is a spike in the revenue. But this revenue is exactly how much I'm getting, so that I get to keep every nickel of that. But again, it says say estimated, so it could be off a few pennies, and that's why it might look different eventually when you get paid ultimately from YouTube. But that is how much that my channel is earning. So right now, for the month of September so far, because this is showing you the monthly estimated revenue. Wait a minute, we're not done here with the percentage increase calculator. Because if you take a look, September's not over. We're only midway through September. So July was at 120.07. That's exactly what I showed you. And then I'm entitled to that 136.49 payment. But now if we look at September, and as I'm filming this right now, it is September 16th, because I'm doing it after midnight, guys. This is called commitment. 3 in the morning, and I'm making this video for you right now. So we're basically only halfway through September. We're not even done with September yet. And if we're just doing how much so far I made for the month, that 163.87, let's do that increase, because that's a very important figure. So we do the final, so remember that 136.49, 136.49, 136.49. The month is not even over, we're only halfway through, and already, it's already increased over 20%, just basically 20%, 20.06. Tell me, find me, can that happen at Walmart where you make 20% more halfway through the month compared to the month prior? It doesn't exist. It's taboo. You're not going to find it. Unless you're some high working position that you have an insanely high degree, maybe you know someone, a connection to a certain position, you're not going to find it. You're going to look high and low. You're going to look at every mountain and valley, but you're not going to find where you make 20% more than the month prior and you're already halfway through the month. You're not going to find it. So more revenue is on the way, and we're growing the channel daily and weekly. More subscribers every day. It doesn't stop. It really doesn't go negative either. And the channel has only gone up, so it's not volatile like a stock. That would be crazy. It would be an emotional roller coaster if the channel was like a stock, where one day it's 3,000, and then the next day your channel is at 2,000 subscribers. I don't even know if I would do it if that was the case, but it only grows. It really only does. And so there is incentive in a sense to continue to make videos, but at the same time, it is all about discipline, and having and building that discipline to make videos every single solitary day and upload them and edit them when you want to do other things, and when you're running a business and have multiple streams of income in the back end, it's tough. It is not easy, but it is worth it, because, you know, there are YouTubers, I won't name names, but there are YouTubers, most specifically, perhaps he put out a revenue video kind of recent, and he was showing he's making like between $9,000 and $15,000 a day. Got paid $250,000 for the month of July. Potential is there. The potential is absolutely there, and you just have to keep working towards that goal. I would be more than content, so happy, if it did hit 6 figures. 6 figures is absolutely achievable. A lot of channels in my circle and my orbit are making more than 6 figures. They're doing like multiple 6 figures, but 6 figures is obviously a huge landmark, and at that point we might be doing like 3 videos a day when we get to that point. So we'll see what happens in the near future. The channel is growing, and once again, it all is because of you guys. I couldn't have this kind of revenue. I wouldn't have this studio. I wouldn't be talking to the camera right now if it wasn't because of your support. So yes, I do have to add that mini Instagram giveaway per se that we're doing. So in light of the 3,000 subscriber landmark that we hit, I figured it's the least I could do. It's a very minuscule gesture, a little indication of my support for your insurmountable gratitude that I cannot defeat by any way, shape, or form from this giveaway. Is what we're doing is you send me a screenshot through Instagram, via Instagram, in DM, so slide in my DMs, and what you'll do is you'll send me a screenshot of you on the YouTube mobile or the YouTube mobile version of this site. So whatever you want to use, like the YouTube app, or if you're just on the YouTube mobile version, doesn't matter. And what you do is you send me a screenshot of you liking this video or a recent one. So it could be a stimulus package update. It could be the other recent one covering the 3,000 subscriber announcement thank you video that I did recently. It could be any of those videos. It could be another recent video that I posted. If you're watching this in months from now, it doesn't matter. I'll still do it. I'll still honor it. But by then we might be at a very high number, so maybe I'll do something even better then. So you could enter this giveaway as well as whatever I do when we hit, say, 10,000 subscribers. So you go ahead and you send me that screenshot if you liking this video. You also indicate that you have subscribed to the channel in that same screenshot, and you also click that notification bell. And so you send that to me on Instagram, you DM me. And then you also have to follow me on Instagram. So you have to follow me and then DM me that screenshot of you liking this video and subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And then I'll follow you back. I'll personally follow you back on my Instagram. It's at Logan Cohn. So you DM me the screenshot there, at Logan Cohn. I'll put it up here on Instagram. And I'll also write a little personal thank you note in that DM as well. So I'll follow you back and a little thank you note. I figured that's the least I could do for your support. Something nice, something very mini that I could do just for your continuous graciousness. So thank you very much once again. So very thankful for all of you. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, if you got value out of it, click that like button. Helps with that algorithm. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video.